they broke it down by region. So there was almost 500,000 copies, 476,000 sold in the Americas. That's not just the United States, it's the Americas. There was 230,000 copies sold in Europe. There was only 20,000 sold in Australia and New Zealand. And Japan was a close second. There was 368,000 copies sold of Splatoon in Japan. I think this is great, but do you see what I'm saying about Nintendo, though? Their first-party IPs, their intellectual properties that you could only get on Nintendo hardware, 9.5 times out of 10 do very damn well. And this is a perfect example of it. This is a new IP for them, and it managed, even with the Wii U's small install base, to sell over 1 million copies worldwide. Now imagine the Wii U, and I know I'm going to sound like a repetitive motherfucking broken record, but I don't care. Now imagine if the Wii U was that dream piece of hardware I hoped it would be, you hoped it would be, where it would be much more powerful than it is, where it would have the third-party support, where Nintendo actually marketed it properly. And people knew that it was actually their Nintendo's next-gen system and didn't think it was just a controller add-on. Imagine, for example, the Wii U flew off shelves like the PS4 did, and as of now, from launch, there was 50 million Wii U's sold worldwide. If you do the math, like, there's 1 million copies of Splatoon that were sold to around 10 million Wii U owners worldwide. If there was 50 million Wii U owners, that means that there could have possibly been 5 million copies of Splatoon sold. That's 5 times the amount of sales Nintendo could have gotten. That's why, Nintendo, I want you to make a first-party and third-party king console when it comes to Codename NX. I hope you see little shits like me, metaphorically, I know I have a large ass, but you know what I'm saying. I hope you see little channels like me and the millions of other people that are saying it. I hope you hear what we're saying and you listen to us and you just make a conventional kick-ass console, or hey, like I said before, if you want to make your quote-unquote innovations, I hope you make your unique console be able to be played like a conventional console, so the third-party games could come to it, and you could put your first-party games on there, which obviously always do well in most cases and sell well, and you will be the king of the gaming industry again, Nintendo, because think about it. If you can muster up 1 million copies of a new IP being sold on your worst-selling system of all time, the Wii U, imagine how many copies of your first-party IPs would fly off shelves if you had a much bigger install base of your next-gen system. Think about it, Nintendo. You're a business, and you're all about the numbers like any other business. Just listen to the consumer and give us what we want, and we'll give you our money. It's simple. This is Richard of UTech USA signing out. Have a good one.
Tied to the rollers. And then the interrogation would begin. As the torturer turned the wheels, the body would slowly stretch until the joints were dislocated. They made the other prisoners watch as a form of punishment. Medieval people, you twisted as fuck. So the rack made its way onto the scene in England in 1447, but eventually it was outlawed in 1628. Thank God. Why was it created? Beginning, who thought of that? stab yourself.
Number 4.
The brazen bull! Remember in the Three Little Pigs how the wolf climbs down the chimney and lands in the big pot on the fire and all the pigs cheer? You know that happy children's story where they boil a wolf to death? What's wrong with us? Anyway, the brazen bull is similar. But instead of falling down a chimney, victims would be placed inside a large bronze bull by a door on the side. Then a fire was lit underneath and the thing would heat up. And the person inside would essentially burn alive. All the townspeople watched. And that, my friends, is why television was invented. You want to know what's even more sick? There were a series of tubes installed in the device that made the victim's scream sound like a bellowing bull. What sound does a bull make, sweetie? The sound of screaming people being burned alive. What's wrong with us?
Number 3.
The tub. Tub? Doesn't sound bad. It's a big bath. But what if you were sitting in a tub covered in milk and honey? Okay, so what if you were locked in this tub, except for your head, which was covered in milk and honey and left outside for a long period of time? You would attract bugs and animals that would eat you alive. And if that's not bad enough, victims would be fed often and thus forced to sit in their own filth. Because as the modern day storybook told us, everybody poops. You're covered in milk and honey. You're sitting in your own filth.